Interrail travelers, Mark here with Walter's World, and I'm back home from Miami. And it was 44 degrees when I came back last night, and I'm cold. Yeah, I just want to say welcome back, welcome back. I'm actually rendering a video to come out later today, so we're going to have a live feed, and after the live feed, the Scams of Budapest will be coming out. So two things for the price of one this week. So glad you could join us. Today, what I want to talk about before I get into some of the questions and things like that is I just want to talk to you about the fact that there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this summer with travel and how rules are changing, what you need to look out for, because no matter where you want to go, you need to be researching before you go. Because look, the sites haven't changed from what's there. The culture hasn't changed from what's there. It's just you need to know some of the new rules when you go out. And so what I want to talk about throughout our live feed today is we're going to talk about Europe's reopening. We're going to talk about the U.S. openings. We're going to talk about issues if you're going to be going to Hawaii, okay? Because it's not as simple as it used to be. Well, pre back in the day. We're going to talk about some Airbnb cleaning charges and how that is a surprise charge you might be kind of shocked about. We're going to talk about how airline ticket prices are just shooting through the roof. We're going to talk about scheduling. We're going to talk about not everything being open, reservations, and also about if you ever see anyone pretending to be Walter's World and they're talking about crypto, that is not me. Someone is, they go to channels and make a fake channel that looks just like it and comment, and then people try to contact them. I'm not going to ever ask you about crypto or to buy crypto. Okay, so don't ever worry about that. And if you do put it in, if you put the word crypto in the comments, not the ones you'll see on wherever you're watching it, but in the normal comment section, that's now a banned word because that seems to be the go-to spammy thing on YouTube. So lots of stuff to talk about. Hey, Chili Viper. Labas, mano drogas. Ajbuvo. Tres mate. Lietovoya. Yeah, it's been a while since I spoke it, so I apologize, my friend. Good to see you. Hey, Mark Finley, my buddy, is in the house. Talk about first question. Once you fly into a country like France, are you restricted on traveling to different countries by train? This is a country by country thing. Okay. Right now, it really depends. They're allowing free movement. Like we have friends that are going to other countries, no problem, but every country can be different. So you have to check and see what they're saying about people coming over, because some countries will say, look, you come over, like if you're in the Schengen where they're all kind of open borders, then they might not be checking. But if you're going like over to Serbia or you're going to the UK where you have another border check, there might be another test you need to do. So you do need to be careful with that. James Williams asks, well, first off, I have to say hi to Kathy Walters. Love you, Mom. Good to see you on here. But James has a very chilling question. What is the coldest place you've been to? The coldest place I've been to, let's see. I think the coldest I ever I was in Lithuania, and it was minus 40 Celsius and Fahrenheit at the same time. And it was so cold that it was freezing inside my windowsill. Like my heater was here, and the windowsill was here. It was still freezing on top of the windowsill. I remember putting blankets on and crying when I had to get up in the morning because I just moved my finger like this. So much cold air would come in. Oh, that was some chilliness. That was some chilliness. Mr. Safarius. Do you have any recommendations for flying companies to Tanzania? We flew KLM because we use Delta, Air France, KLM code shares, and KLM is the one who does like Rwanda and Tanzania and East Africa. So that's who we used. But let's get into some of these cool newses. But I want to start with some tough news. Some friends of ours are in Hawaii, and if you're looking to be going to Hawaii, one thing I got to say is just plan on going to one island. Even if you're vaccinated, you really only should do one island because every island you go to, you're going to have to retest. Okay. So you have to go there and get tested again before you fly to the next island, because if you don't, and you get to that next island and you haven't tested, well, they can't send you back to that other island you were just at because now you need a new test to go back there, and you might get booted back to, the mainland US. You maybe get to go back there. But that we've had some of our fellow travelers telling us horror stories that, they're vaccinated. They got the test before they went to Hawaii, and they were in, Maui or wherever. I can't remember where. In Maui? Or I don't know. I think they were Maui. But don't hold me to that one. And they stayed there for a week, and they had another week on the Big Island. and they flew over and they're vaccinated. They got tested before they came to the state of Hawaii, and they got to Honolulu or they have to Big Island. They're like, nope, bye. So they were out $3,500 because of that. And what you have to realize is Hawaii is for intra Hawaii flights, like between inter island flights, with flying between island to island in Hawaii. If you're vaccinated, you can fly without the test. But here's the kicker: Hawaii is only accepting vaccinations or people that are vaccinated and proof of vaccine that were done in Hawaii. So you get vaccinated in California, you get vaccinated in Germany, you get vaccinated in New York or Illinois. They will not let you use that as proof of vaccination. I mean, I just found this out yesterday. I'm like, what? But yeah, so you're going to have to test to go to each island. And each island might have a different set of rules. So do have a heads up if you're going to Hawaii, okay? Because you don't want to be out thousands of dollars for these kind of things. So just have a heads up. So Femke, okay, this is a good one. Good morning. Good morning. So I just discovered that my passport expires February 2022. Will I be able to travel internationally in September with it? I feel like renewing it will take forever. No, Femke, I would do it now. If you're not going to travel till September, you have plenty of time. They're actually running at normal times now. It's not like last year where it took 6 months. Now you'll get it back. You can actually do the expedited one, and you'll probably get it back in about 4 weeks. I pay the extra for the peace of mind, just in case you want to go someplace this summer. Hey, maybe Italy's open, so why not? But I would get that now, because if you want to go in September, that's October, November, December, January, February. That's only 5 months. Now, it depends where you're going. Like the UK is like you can come almost whenever, but other countries are like, no, you need at least 6 months before you let you in. We had that problem last fall with Liam because his passport was set to expire, like this last February 2021. And we were looking for places because we're like, well, we can't give him a new passport. And because we were waiting for after the summer travels and we didn't know it was going to happen. So we didn't get it. And then it was like closed. But I would just do it now, get it over with. So if you don't have anything done, I would get it now. Like, honestly, right now, I'm looking at my travel schedule, how things open up. And mine expires summer of 2022. And so I'm trying to figure out, so when do I have that month or 2 month window of being in the U.S. and not needing it to go abroad, just so I have that. So I would do it now because you won't be able to use it the September flight stuff. Okay, that's why I always find it funny when they say it's a 10-year passport. I'm like, really? It's like a 9.5 month passport. Actually, less than that, because you don't get it for like a few days after it gets issued. So just have that. So Femke, I hope that can help you out. So WD Harris, are you ever scared of traveling with your kids? No. Well, I don't like turbulence, of course, but I don't try to take my kids anywhere where it's scary. Like, people ask me, like, are you going to go here or here? I'm like, look, if it's a war zone or there's high levels of kidnapping or there's real safety issues, I'm not taking my kids there. That's not going to happen. Because I'm not willing to take. Like, I look at flight paths. I'm like, I'm not going to fly over war zones. I'm not going to fly by war zones. I don't feel comfortable with that. So I try to eliminate as much of those things as possible. So that's why I try not to be scared. Oh, Pink Lady, thank you very much for the super chat. Good to see you again. Hey, Mark, family, hope you're well. They are. They're all still sleeping upstairs, so it's just me this morning. Can you tell I'm still wired from my time in Miami? We're doing well with the COVID here in Western Australia. Only 2 people with COVID. Dang! There's like more people that have COVID like on my street probably. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, I don't know when we're going to get down to see you. I know we were supposed to go last Christmas down there, and since things are still closed up and I can't take the chance of that still happening, so I don't think we'll get there this end of this year if it opens up, but hopefully we'll be down there to visit you all in Australia and film. It's been a long time since I was an exchange student there, but good memories. Yes. Going like Macca's. What's Macca's? Oh, McDonald's, right. And then fish, I'm like, why are they giving me food in a newspaper wrapper? I mean, I was a kid, so it was kind of funny. But good times. And thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. It does really help out. And for anyone who wants to put a super chat, really, we put it towards stuff. I'm actually saving up now to get a new camera, because on this trip, the camera now, it's like the batteries just get eaten up like crazy, and it's problematic. So there's that. But thank you so much, Pink Lady. Let's see. Femka, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could help out. I hope that was good that could help you out. Leo, good to see you, my friend. Leo's got a fun Instagram feed. If you want to go check him out. Oop, wait. Go Dogs. That's for Jocelyn. Thanks, Regina. So Mark asked, do you think there's a chance I'll be able to visit my friends in the Netherlands this summer? Okay, Mark, thank you for the lead in to talk about European summer. So looking at flight bookings to Europe are kicking up fast and prices are jumping for flights to Europe. I'm seeing double some of the prices I was looking at a few months ago. I'm glad I bought all my tickets earlier, so I'm not getting hit. But something you need to really think about if you're going to go to Europe, you need I gotta find when I find the site, I'll link it in the community tab on YouTube, because I got a really good site that went through everything, what the restrictions are for like every country in the world. It was really, really good. But I don't have it on top of my head because it's saved in a computer. But with Europe, different things have opened up. Remember, Greece has already opened up. You can go to Greece now. Italy said they're going to open up. Ireland is going to open up for Europeans July 19th, I think. It's middle of July. They said that's when people can do non-restricted traveling. Like Ireland's just starting to open up. They're going to start opening up, I think, next week, like hotels and restaurants and stuff. So it's complicated, but things are starting to go there. I think you'll have pretty much an open thing by the end of the summer. Like June, forget it. Like June, I don't know. I'm not really super. I mean, June, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. Okay, but by end of July, I think things will be popping. In August, I think things will be going. But the Netherlands, you got to Netherlands is nice because there's a lot of English language news things from there, so you can check their like updated stuff. Because like CNN takes a few days to like when news comes out to put it in there, kind of track what's going on. But yeah, like one of our fans, he sent me on Instagram. He sent me the Irish announcement from 2 days ago about what they're doing. Look good for Europeans for Ireland, but nothing on Americans yet. But I'm sure eventually we'll be allowed in. I mean, that's where we're hoping to go later this year. So let's see. Brent Wild, man, sure have come a long way from your videos 10 years ago. Yeah, when I used to just have like Nikon Coolpix, I would put it on a rock in the wind and talk and like have no idea how to edit. I still know how to edit, but still. Thanks, Brent. I appreciate it, my friend. Oh, Leah's off to Aruba on Wednesday, so watch your videos last night. Nice. I still have a couple more. I think I have one more I need to put out. So have a fun time, my friend. You'll have a good time. Oh, just one flight away. Delta and American Airlines has a site like that. So if you're looking, your airlines, especially if you're looking to fly to a place that airline goes, they'll have to have information because they can't. I mean, they probably get so many frequently asked questions. It's easier to send people that way. So that might be a good thing there. Thank you. Just one flight away. It's like flying is something you know. Oh, James William, are there any unspoken rules for when traveling to Europe? Same as anywhere. Yeah. Like, you don't, if you want to have an argument, talk politics. If you want to keep it calm, talk about the weather, watch sports. We all like it. You're fine. Don't worry. Okay. Miguel Martins. What's your opinion on doing an Interrail with some friends? I did that a number of times when I was younger. Once you're over 26, the price for Eurorail tickets, I don't think is worth it. Or sorry, that's Eurorail. I don't think it's worth it. So what I always look is like under 26, it's great and it's worthwhile. And if you're European, you get Interrail, it's worth it. But once you have to be traveling enough to make it worthwhile. I know for like Eurorail stuff, it's not like Portugal, it's stupid because you're paying way too much money. In Germany, if you're going to be traveling all across Germany, all throughout Europe and doing night trains, and it finally pays off. If you're over 26. If you're under that, I usually just buy individual tickets, because all those still have like restrictions. Like you can't just hop on a train to France. You still have to get the reservations. So it's not as simple as it used to be unless you're taking like regional trains. So you got to see what the restrictions are. But it's there. It's fun to do. I had a good time. I remember my brother and I were just hopping off trains. Like this town looks cool. We'll just go here. It's like we're in Brno. One time I was like, this is cool. I'm just gonna hop off. And so there's things you can do. By the way, if I don't get your question answered, because when they go by so fast, I just put it in again later on, and I'll hopefully get through it. So there is that. Nico Sneeko, I love this comment. Mark is the best. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Let's see. Michael Gonzalez, I must just beat the increase. We booked flights from San Francisco to Lisbon next spring for $500 round trip earlier this week. That's awesome. So, and Michael, thank you for bringing that up. I'm sorry. The price jumps have been for flights this summer. Okay. I was looking at flights for November and December, and they were more like the traditional prices, like what I expect to pay. Not the super discounted flights. Like you can still get those. We were flying flights to Frankfurt from Chicago for $500 and to Ireland for like $400. So there's still some deals out there. Like Scott's Cheap Tickets is a good one to look for stuff. Like there are still some deals, but in general, the prices are starting to really pop because people are buying tickets. So they see, hey, things are going to open up. So this is one that's near and dear to my heart. Katie Suarez. Hey, Mark, can I travel to Europe with kids? Okay, in non-COVID times, of course. We do it all the time. Now you can. It's going to depend where you want to go. Because some countries, like, for example, Greece, you can either have a vaccine or you can test out or you can quarantine, right? So if you're going to go with your kids, the kids can't take the vaccine. So it's not yet at least. And so what you would do is you would test the kids, like your local Walgreens or CVS or whatever. You have to make sure you have the right test that they allow. That's the tough part, is knowing which ones they accept. Get that PCR test or NAT test or whichever one it is for everybody. So then everybody's negative, and like a couple days before, then you fly out and you go and you have proof of your test. And then that's why I'd say if you're going to visit Europe, I would probably try to stick to like one country this summer, just in case they put new restrictions in of, can you cross the border? Do we need to check? Because you don't want to get stuck right there. So there's that. Left kick. Okay, you don't need to put it up 400 times. You'll get banned really quickly. Just letting you know. I'll answer your question, but take a chill pill. Best country to visit right now. Best country to visit right now is the country you're in, because you don't have to worry about the restrictions. You already know your restrictions, and you know the place there. And you'll be surprised how many beautiful things there are in your own country. So Gabriel, who's in Dubai, knows there's some cool stuff to go see in Dubai. And here in the U.S., there's great stuff. Like if you want to go to D.C., you can get a trip. You can take a tour with Rob from TripHacks DC and learn so much about DC. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do and see. And the thing is, the best country to go right now, honestly, it's the one that you're in. So there's that. Oh, Rob's Jefferson Moore right now about to start a tour. So if you see him walking around, say hey, but let him do his tour. Okay. Okay, James Williams, what's the hardest country to travel to, like getting visas? So whenever there's visa stuff, and I've been approached by a few companies to talk, like promote their visa services. So I have to try some of them out first. But I know like Russia was a pain, and it was just like, dude, have a service do it for you. China, I just had a service do it for me, because going through it all yourself just gets you frustrated and actually turns you off from wanting to like participate and go to that country. So that's one thing they can be doing. I think you look at some place that we really want to go, like Bhutan. Bhutan, it's like you have to pay for a visa, and it's like, you have to pay for a guide the whole time. It's like $250 per person per day. So it could get extremely expensive with a family of four, hence why we have not gone yet. And that's Jocelyn's number one place. After we got to Rwanda, she's like, next up, Bhutan's one I really want to go to. So that can be a hard thing because it's hard on the budget. There we go. Sahil's coming up with a great stay for Dubai. Not a lot of cool stuff by itself besides mall. Venture out to Ras Al Khaimah, Khor Fakkan, etc. Stay inside. Right now, to be honest, it's way too hot. Yes. So there's there. But that's just it. You'll find cool stuff. And sometimes it is that day trip. I went and visited my parents a couple weeks ago. I ended up driving it up into Iowa for a few days. And Des Moines was really nice. And I went to Pella, which is like a total Dutch town, like Sahil. It's like Delft stuff there. It was hilarious. And then I went to the bridges of Madison County. So you can find some nice stuff. Yeah, the Galvans and gals. Hey, gals, good to see you. Yeah, we used the service for Russia and then couldn't go. Oh, we were on a trip that COVID hit and didn't make Russia. That was an expensive loss. Yeah, visas, there's no refund on visas. Like it's just not going to happen. And actually, I filmed a video on travel insurance. There's like travel insurance, kidnap and ransom insurance, and what was it? And travel medical insurance, and trip insurance. So I did a video on that in Miami. So that'll be coming out here in a little while. Just one flight away. What do you think about U.S. citizens having to get a visa for Schengen region in 2022? There's going to be something. I mean, it's something you're going to register online. I mean, we make people do it. We have the ESTA program for people coming to the U.S. I mean, this is just one of those reciprocal. You make us do it, we're going to make you do it. So back and forth. I wonder, because it's like TS. I wonder if it's kind of like the Real ID, where it keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. I think if there's not a lot of U.S. tourism coming in this summer, that 2022 date might get pushed back to 2023, because why give another after COVID, after pandemic, after things being shut down, not letting people in, another hurdle. There's a lot of people, they see a hurdle, they're like, forget it. Like visas, forget it. I'm just going to go to Cancun. I'm going to go down to Colombia. I'm going to go to, Brazil. We don't need a visa there anymore. So that's something you have to really think about with these things. Yeah. Let's see. Steen, hi, I'm going to Tanzania in a couple of years. Have any advice for touring companies and where to stay? So the touring company we used was Shadows of Africa. They did a fantastic job with fantastic guides. I can't say good enough about them. I highly recommend them. So Shadows of Africa. So that would be one I would go to. Jordan, we were supposed to go to Jordan, Gabriel. I was so pissed. We got canceled last minute. And yeah, that sucks. And then we were supposed to go back last summer on a trip. Probably best because we were going to go in November. That got canceled, so we were supposed to go in June. So it's been a little hot. So we'll get there. I've not been there yet. I'm sorry. So the Hobby Kai. Hey, Mark, keep up the good content from London. Thank you, my friend. I'll do my best. So next thing I want to talk about. European openings. We've kind of gone through that. Just know every country's going to open at different times. They might still have restrictions. They might not let people in. They might let people in and traveling around. I mean, it's going to be an interesting time. But I think by August you're going to have most stuff you'll be able to go to. And the thing is every one of these countries have a switch. If things get too bad, they can just turn off the tourism. So that's why it's important you get trip insurance. And I know it's more now, but it's still worth getting, especially if you're going to be going to places like Costa Rica, where you actually require to have insurance in case you have to quarantine. So something to think about. Diogos Mois, do you miss life in Portugal? Yes, we do. My wife and I talk about it quite often. We'll ask the boys every so often, you want to move back to Portugal? And, the oldest is now going to high school. So he's like, I don't want to leave my friends. I'm like, all right. But I wouldn't be surprised if we would move back there for a while. Really loved our time there. Ooh, Alana Van Pelt. We are booked to Scotland on this September. Do you think it might happen? Yes, I think I hope so, because I'm booking for those times too. Ireland just came out, and they're going to start allowing Europeans, I think probably EU people, to come from middle of July. So you figure they're letting them by middle of July, August. I think by September you'll be able to do that. Scotland's got its own stuff, but they're opening up little by little. So I think you're okay. I mean, you're far enough out that if you remember, 30 days is the big day to cancel stuff, because most places, anything is 30 days out, you can cancel. Because 30 days out will be in August, and you'll know by then. Because if things haven't opened up to get all that tourist summer money, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't say 100% because I don't know what they're going to do, but I would buy tickets at that time. So I'm not so I actually was looking at Dublin tickets yesterday and Scotland tickets. So yes, Joker. The oldest is going to high school. Holy crap. That's right. I mean, the early videos were just climbing all over top of me when I'm trying to teach Portuguese. He's a big boy now. Oops. Stuart Ross, good to see you, buddy. Book for Copenhagen mid-September. Looking forward. Shame I can't do a day trip over to Bridge, Sweden. Yeah. Well, you never know. Things might open up. I mean, it's all up in the air. So you can't. That's one thing that's tough, is you can't guarantee. Nobody can guarantee anything because nobody knows, because how things change and stuff. So that's why I said sometimes it's better just to travel in your own country because you know the rules already, and it's probably not going to get worse. It'll stay where it is now. And that's why we traveled so much in the U.S. this last year. I mean, we've been to Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, North South Carolina, West Virginia, and we're going to Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Pennsylvania again, and Virginia, West Virginia. Like we're staying in the U.S. for the summer just to be sure. So, Sebastian, in Germany, the COVID cases are dropping fast. So Europeans can see the same progression. Other countries are opening for tourism faster and faster. But July and August, we could be back to open. Yeah, I mean, that's Sebastian, well said. I mean, that's what we're looking at because things, if you notice in the U.S., things have really picked up. I mean, I was in Key West for a week, and I came back. All of a sudden, all the stores here are like, oh, yeah, if you're vaccinated, you have to wear a mask. I'm like, well, that's different. You know, like things really are opening, Quincy. KDR. Hey, Mark, you good, fellow Quincy boy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, no, where'd it go? There it is. Joao Victor, it's so sad. Brazil's pretty much stranded our country and can't go anywhere. Yeah, Brazil's been really hit bad. Really hit bad as well. Yeah, I know, man. It's terrible. I'm sorry, man. Oh, here's one. Lisa Carter. Dr. Walters, I bought a flight to Lima, Peru, but the airline Interjet went under. Do you think I have any recourse or should I just accept the loss? You can contact them because there'll be something there, but Interjet is not a U.S. airline, I don't think. And so your recourse is very little. If you would get anything back, maybe 10%. But I mean, I would fill out the forms, do what you need to do, and just walk away, pretend like that's it. If the money shows up, great. But yeah, that's one of the things you got to. That's one thing that really sucks is some of these. This has happened. I mean, there's just tons of cheap airlines in Europe, and then there was like a 2-year window. They just kept they didn't crash, but their companies went out of business. So it is tough. Oh, Dr. Hamilton's mad at me not coming to Minnesota. Hey, I'm only talking about to midsummer. There's still stuff to do. You know, can't pass up the Minnesota State Fair. That's some fun times right there. Let's see. Okay, Hatchet Down 88. Hey, we love your videos. Thank you very much. How far ahead would you recommend a native English speaker to prepare for visiting Asian countries like Japan? I badly want to watch a sumo tournament live. Okay, so for events like that, I mean, you can. I would kind of look online. You can. I mean, it's like you can book everything online too, especially in Japan. So you can do that. I wouldn't do the last minute just because of the language barrier. Sometimes I would try to get as much kind of set up beforehand. So that's there. And you can actually ask your hotel, like, hey, I would like to go see something. Do you have any recommendations? They might not be able to get you tickets, but they should be able to tell you, hey, here's a link where you can go buy, or here's some places nearby, or here's a tourist thing. It's like people go to Chicago. I want to see a baseball game. Like, well, we got the Cubs and the White Sox. Here's the WrigleyField.com and here's WhiteSox.com. Go figure it out. So that could be something there. Capri Freak, finally seen the tourism starting to pick up here in Mallorca, Spain. I've been unemployed for 8 months. Ouch, man. Finally, we're back where I work at. Awesome. That's great. See, and that's the thing. I'm so happy because as tourism comes back, we don't realize there's so many people's livelihood are dependent on tourism. And the thing is, like, people are like, oh, well, it's big industry. I'm like, big industry. A manufacturer, a factory. It's mostly machines doing the work. There's people that are working there, but it's like, how many people are in the restaurants and hotel industry? I'm like, they're hiring 5 or 6 cleaners, 10, people working around there as well. It's like 15, 20 people. So like a hotel could hire as much as some factories. Now all the hotels are closed. Now they're opening up again. That's fantastic news. That's awesome. Betty Benson, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. So Betty asks, going to Rome, Italy, May 2022. That's awesome for my daughter's graduation. What do you know about the new visa for U.S. citizens starting 2022? Okay, it's not going to be very hard. Basically, you're going to go online. You'll put in honestly, it's probably more complicated to buy a ticket online than it is to do this. But basically what it is, from what I understand, it's going to be, because they can still change it because it's not like officially set in stone exactly what's going to be. Like they talk, but you never know. You'll need your passport information. You will need your flight information for that first flight you're going to take, and then you're just going to put that all in there so it has it. It's not FBI background check level stuff. We got to go in and get fingerprinted and things like that. Because I know the European one, the ESTA one that Europeans have to do to come here is basically you put in your passport and you answer a few more questions, like where do you, like your address, your phone number. Like they're just giving more it's almost like the contract tracing stuff that's on there. So Betty, don't let it scare you off. Okay, it's just one of those things, something we already ask people to do when they come to the U.S. So I'm not worried about it. It's just, and I know like ESTA lasts for like 5 years, so you have to redo it every 5 years. So it's, you don't have to do it every single time. Once you have it, then I think it gets locked to your passport number. So if you like got a new passport, then you might need to get a new one. So something is that. Oh, McHazy, when you come back to Turku. So for those who don't know, I was a Vito Opilas Turusa. I was an exchange student in Turku many pounds ago and years ago. And I had a great time. I took my family back there a few years ago. I just love being back. I'd love to go back and just spend a week just chilling out. Just get like, a cabin out on the islands outside, maybe go to Nantali and just get a thing there and just chill for a week. Like sauna, eating, drinking, sauna, eating, drinking, sauna. You want to relax, man. Finland is a great place to relax. Just love it. And I love Turku. I miss it. Go to whiskey bar on the Kapatori. Eating Hesburger 6 or 7 times a day. It's good times. Let's see. All right. Jennifer, now you're making me nervous. Booked an open jaw in Amsterdam out of Paris for late October, early November. Would you change them now or wait and see? I'd wait and see, because how things are opening up. I mean, October, early November, that's a long time off. And that's also one of those things that, I mean, if your airline sold that to you, you're like, hey, I can't go to that other country, they'll find a way to help you out. Because if they fly into Amsterdam, they're going to be able to fly out of that. I wouldn't be so worried. I know, like for me in August, I've got a trip to France, and my mom and I were thinking about doing France and Germany. I'm like, I'm not ready to take that chance, but late October, early November, things are a lot different by then. I mean, you see how things are opening up so much in the U.S., so don't worry. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Musings in Midlife, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member and being awesome. It feels so good to plan travel again. Thanks to all these people for helping me get through the last year. Cheers. Hey, I'm glad we could all be in this together, because it's been a crappy year. I mean, let's be honest. No travel, no getting out, no seeing family, not having toilet paper when you needed it. I mean, it was a crazy time. But you know what? It's we can see the light at the end of the rainbow. We're starting to get out and travel again. I think that was one of the things is in the fall is when we really decided, look, we got to take advantage of this. And we really, if you've noticed, there's been a lot more USA travel videos on Walter's World the last, year because we've been traveling the U.S. and it's been great. I mean, that's why I tell people, look, if you can travel in your local country, you'll love it. And you get to see so much and do so much and appreciate your own land. So when you go abroad, you can appreciate it even more. It's like, hey, we got differences. We got similarities. So it is really nice. And thank you very much for the super chat. James Williams, also thank you for the super chat. Have you ever been into a Micronation? I hope somebody visit Sealand. I've been to some of there's the Vatican City, and there is the Andorras, there's Liechtenstein's, there's like those kind of things I've been to, Monaco, but like Jersey or something like that, or Sealand, I've not been to the micro tiny nations. But for those ones there, going to those, it's more the thrill of I've been there. And make sure you get the passport stamp. Like I was in San Marino, and they have like a tourist stamp that you can get in your passport. And I'm like, hell yeah. And I was with my students. I'm like, hey, FYI, if you want to get that stamp, because you ain't going to get those stamps when you're in Europe because you're all the same stuff. We're here. Go there and get it. So those are kind of some of the fun things to get. I also notice a lot of the micronations have a lot of duty-free shopping. That's so you got to pick up some electronics. something to look forward to, James. You got that, my friend. So, and hey, James, thank you so much for the super chat. It does make a big difference. Thank you so much. Let's see. Lori Sims, Mark, I finally have an appointment for my new global entry, and I cannot get in until September. Wow. But I like to live for Germany and Italy on September 14th. Do you think it will process in time? Well, if you've already had global entry, it's usually. Are you saying it was your like you didn't have one before, or you have one? The thing is it's only going to matter when you come back. So if you leave September 1st, and that's a couple weeks after 14th. That's a couple weeks after. I think you should be okay because I know like TSA pre-checks like relatively quick. But I wouldn't worry too much about it because especially if you're coming back late September, early October, that's like low season for entries or people coming back. So you should be okay. Let's see. Other stuff I want to talk about: ticket prices. We'll talk. Well, Shauna is talking about tickets, so we'll lead in from that. First, we'll do Shauna's thing, and we'll go from there. I booked a flight to Venice with insurance in case of cancellation, but I'm thinking to fly over to Sicily, hour-and-a-half flight. Any advice on where to go? Flying to Palermo and only have 3 to 4 days there. Okay, so Sicily. For those of you who want to go to Sicily, what you have to realize is the ruins you're going to. Sicily doesn't have a ton of ruins. It doesn't have a lot of the old Italy kind of feel because the Romans used Sicily as a breadbasket. So it was just basically fields. Okay, when you go there, there's the Valley of the Temples. And that's actually Greek temples that are on Sicily. It's really cool to check out. You can go there. If you go to the very west of the island, there's like a hill a hill on a rock. There's a city, a town on top of this huge rock you want to go see. I can't think of the name off the top of my head right away, but you'll look and be like, oh, that's it. But for me, Syracuse, I like Syracuse. I think the square in Syracuse is gorgeous at night. That's worth going to. If you're going to go by Etna, there's a town right by there. My brain is like not working, but it's the big city on that side. Catania, maybe? No. It's right by Etna. And you can tell that it's all made out of volcanic rocks. It's like dark gray, black block bricks. It's really kind of cool stone. So you have a fun time. And so and I'm glad you got the book with your increase in the flight insurance stuff. That's a good thing. So I think with flights, the summer flight tickets, the prices are going up because people are really starting to buy now. You're seeing airlines are switching their planes around. So some of their bigger flights, because people are starting to fly more domestically too, like in the US, they're starting to use some of their bigger long haul airlines to fly across the US because there's so many people that are going to want to go to LA. They want to go to Miami. They want to go to, places that it's kind of interesting. And they've cut so many of the destinations that now the flights are getting filled up quicker. So you got to hope that they're going to start opening up more flights to go places as things open up more. So it's going to be something to think about. But this summer ticket prices, you can still find some deals, but don't expect to find them too much longer. Okay, so be ready for that. So have a heads up. And I think also no matter where you're going to be traveling this summer, you need to start booking hotels because I'm looking for flights and I'm looking at hotels and places are fully booked out. Like we're going to be in Western Massachusetts in July and Hilton. Every hotel, when I was looking in July, every hotel that like I did multiple dates, every single Hilton property in the western side of the state was booked out. Like I couldn't get one day. I found like a Marriott that had rooms. I had a room. I got that. I mean, so things are booking out. Any place that's a tourist destination people drive to or go to, those are booking up so fast because people aren't scared to travel now. And so you need to start booking your accommodation and be ready for it. And it might be a bit more. And so you need to maybe stretch your price range a bit more to find accommodation. I mean, it was tough. Like we wanted to stay in, like we're going to the Finger Lakes in New York and we're staying in Ithaca. And where I wanted to stay by Glen, my brain isn't working. They have Watkins Glen. That's it. I want to go stay by Watkins Glen State Park. All those things were just insane expensive and just like, wow. Or they were sold out. There's just nothing available. So be kind of flexible in where you stay and where you're going to go and your price range because there are going to be some things there. But it's really important that you reserve stuff. Now, as like restrictions go away, some things can open up more for like hotels and for restaurants and for sites. But one thing is I would still look at the place you want to go because not everything's open again. Some places are still closed because a lot of museums did not make it. A lot of small museums did not make it through the pandemic. And small hotels, restaurants. Look in your hometown. I'm sure there's been places that have closed down. So make sure you're researching before you go to see what's there. But hey, I want to say welcome to Mike G, a new YouTube member. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate you being here and joining up with the crew, new fellow traveler. Ronnie Dub, my brother. The travel group I'm going to use for Italy next year offers flights to be booked as part of the overall price and just be more if I pick a better seat. Ronnie, I would pay the more to pick the better seat. Make sure you get yourself an aisle. Get yourself an aisle. Okay? You know why? All right, so I'm going to say, my friend. Jonathan, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Kenneth Joe, hi, Mark. Do you have any advice on renting a car? So many destinations are sold out of cars. Thanks. Yeah, this is a problem. So a lot of car, like Hawaii had this issue. You saw things where people get charged $1,000 a day to rent a car. So they were renting U-Hauls instead because it was cheaper to take that around Hawaii than, renting a car. Look, there are the national chains like the Avis chains, Avis, Hertz, Europcar, Enterprise, whatever. What you should do, if those are all booked out, local ones usually probably you're going to be better. They won't have the name recognition. You won't get your points. You won't get your bonuses, but they might have cars you can rent. Okay, so you might need to look, especially in tourist places, there's a lot of like independent car rental places. So you got to search. The thing is, the search and optimization of the big companies like Enterprise and Hertz, they're going to show up in the first couple pages probably. So you really need to Watkins Glen's New York independent car rental availability. Like you got to be really tailored down there to help you find like independent ones. There, and even then you'll probably still get like Hertz #1 or coming up or Enterprise. So that's something to think about. Also, for those of you thinking of getting rental cars, remember to check your car insurance, because some car insurance, like I made sure that my car insurance covered rental cars. Not all do. Okay, and also your car insurance might not work outside the country, so you're going to have to buy the insurance when you go abroad. I know we always drive when we go to England and we go to Ireland, and I always have to buy the insurance there because we're not covered internationally because it's not worth it, like cost-wise, to put it on there. And some policies just don't offer that at all because they're like, look, I can't trust you driving another other country on the other side of the road. So something to think about it. Let's see. Oh, sorry, had a big jump there. So, Evgeny, would you like to add car luxury tours to your offer to American travelers? Biking out to the polar region, all in luxury style, safe and deep knowledge of the region guaranteed. Let's cooperate. So I get a lot of things, people reaching out like this, but Evgeny brings up I want to talk about the car luxury tours kind of things. So this is actually a big thing in certain parts. If you go to Paris, you realize you can rent a Lamborghini and drive up and down the Champs-Élysées. Like I was just in Miami, and I almost got hit by a few people that were driving Ferraris and other muscle cars that were obviously not theirs, because I'm like, you would know how to drive that. And they're just like, I'm living it up. I'm renting a Ferrari. I'm renting a Lambo. I'm renting whatever. And those things are out there for people to do. Now, I will say you need to be careful because driving those luxury muscle cars, those high power cars, look like it's like muscle car fails on Instagram. Like people don't know what they're doing, and it's got so much power, it just takes off, and it's so light you can have an accident really easily. And do you want to destroy a $500,000 car? So you got to be careful. But I know a lot of people like to do that. And there's like, you go to Las Vegas, you can rent one and to drive around Vegas, or you can actually go on a test track and try it out if you want to try what it's like driving a Ferrari. So these things are out there. And I know some people do the car luxury tours where you're in the nice car and they drive you around. There's also that comfortable way too. So there are those things are out there. Okay, so Evgeny, I know we'll cooperate, but thank you for bringing up the topic because it is something people like to do. Yeah, he checks with Vic. You can rent out luxury cars too. It is so funny how many people are out there. I mean, we were there, and first day I thought we were gonna die because this guy, I think it was a Ferrari, and he was trying to like be cool because there's Fifth Street and that's where South Beach, like the party street, kind of starts, and he's trying to be cool to like whip it around and come back, and freaking about crashed it into the barricades. I'm like, dude, just stop. And then there's another one. It's just, yeah. So there's that. So 88 Miss Beauty, do you recommend any U.S. national parks for families? Pretty much any of the U.S. national parks have family programming. I do recommend if you have kids, go. If I don't, hopefully the ranger program will be working this summer. The youth ranger program, junior ranger program will be working because they have lots of events, especially near the visitor center. When you come in, they'll have like, here's what's going on. Here's when the Raptors are coming out. And here's when we're doing a talk here. And here's when you're going to see this. go in. I mean, they'll have it online, so you can go there. But when you go in, get the like scavenger, get all the stuff for them, and they have plenty of stuff for kids. Every national park has this. Okay, so there'll be stuff that you can do. One thing I'd say with the kids one, have them with good walking shoes. I know kids like to wear their Crocs or their whatever, but like, hey, we're going to be really walking. We're going to be hiking. I mean, if you're not doing hikes, you're just walking around to see stuff like Yellowstone. You want to have the good shoes for the little kids that don't come off. Like make sure they hop out of the car. You're like, let's tie those shoes. It's practice time. That's one of those things. For ones that are really good for kids in the summer, I would not do like Death Valley, or obviously because of heat, or like the Everglades. I would go more Glacier National Park, Yellowstone, Grand Teton stuff, where it's really pretty, but there's space for them to run and have fun. And keep an eye out for them, of course. Also, with little kids, make sure you talk about respecting the animals, because they don't realize that bison could kill them, or that grizzly bear is not your teddy bear. So something to kind of think about. Or alligators, especially if you're in Florida and Georgia. The alligators are Florida especially. The gators are not toys. And sadly, some people have found out the bad way. So Bruce Dillon, why do some countries require visas? What's their purpose? Some want to make sure people they know who's coming in. They want to be able to track who's coming in. A lot of times the U.S. had visas for countries where people would come and not leave. So they would have a visa program for that. I know Lithuania, there were some Lithuanians would come over and then never leave the U.S., that they had the visa programs. And once the number of Lithuanians that were traveling were coming back and forth, they're like, we don't have to do that anymore. And the EU was like, hey, that's part of the EU. And they got rid of the visas for Lithuanians. So it's a thing by that. Michael, Travel the World. I saw that you had quite a few best day trips from Boston. So, I mean, you can go see like Cambridge. You can go see Salem, where the witch trials were and stuff. Where else? The Cape Cod, Nantucket. Basically, your day trips from Boston that are worth it are along the coast. That would be my suggestion. Because once you go farther into Massachusetts, not a ton to do. I wouldn't some people. You can take the train down to Providence, but Providence doesn't have much to see in Rhode Island. It's more like I went to Rhode Island. You can eat good Portuguese food there in East Providence, but you're going to stay on the coast for the day trips that are really worth it. I would say. Let's see. Christina, I know most places have good and bad areas for families. What are 3 places you think are best to raise a child? I like raising them by water, because then it's just you always have a place to go. You don't have to go on vacation. We just go to the river. We go on the river. We can go to the beach, or we can go to the pond. The water kind of stuff. But I don't know. Every family is a little different. Let's see. Walter, have you ever visited places of your ancestry? I got to see Normandy, Essex, etc. Yes, I have. My mom is really big into genealogy, so we've done a few trips like that. We actually were in the Shetland Islands 2019, visiting, seeing the houses and the graves of our ancestors. That was kind of cool. And we did a bunch of Scotland. Last year, we were supposed to go to Germany and France to do that, but that got canceled. So we're going back to France this year, and we're going to the Strasbourg, Colmar region. In France, East Central France, because we have family from there, so we're going there this summer to go see some of those things. I've been in Aberdeen, and there's a place where our ancestors are, and they actually have a tomb, and so I got to Jocelyn did the chalk thing on there. That was really cool. Or the penciling of the stuff. That was really kind of cool. But we have no idea where it went. We have it. We have no idea where it is, because we moved right afterwards, so it's probably still in a box somewhere. Let's see. Kyle, have you been to all 50 states? I have not. And Hawaii got us, so we couldn't go to Hawaii this year. We had tickets and everything, but I need to get to Alaska, Hawaii, Oregon, North Dakota, and Utah. So I got 5 left. And I was going to hit North Dakota, Utah, and Oregon this summer, but then our summer plane changed. We went from the West Coast to the East Coast, so I'll still be looking for those. But one day we will get there. So Miss Jen, are the Black Hills worth going to? I feel like Rushmore, there's a bit of a tourist trap. Mount Rushmore is actually free to. Well, it's $10 for parking, but it's free to go in. But it's $10 to park. There's quite a bit there. I liked Wyoming and Montana better, but the Black Hills are gorgeous. I actually have a video of the don'ts of visiting the Black Hills and Deadwood. Watch that video; it gives you all kinds of information. I also have a don'ts of South Dakota and I eats of South Dakota's on Jocelyn's channel, so there's stuff there to give you some ideas. But I think the Black Hills really are pretty. So, yeah. Yeah, as Liz from Means to Travel says, I just went to the Black Hills 2 weeks ago for the first time. Mount Rushmore isn't as great as Crazy Horse Monument. The Crazy Horse Monument is huge. The Crazy Horse Monument, what I liked about it, I mean, it's not going to be done while I'm alive. But what I like about there is there's like a museum in there. They have a really good shop for Native American art and stuff. But they have people there that are giving performances, music, and talks about Native American experience, about Native American history. That's what I thought was super interesting. It's like there, and that was nice. Mount Rushmore, you can hike around it and you can see it, and there's the visitor center was closed when we were there, so because of COVID, so didn't get to see much else. But it's you go and you see it, like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you drive out and you get this side picture of Washington, you get that. But yeah, it's not like the thing is, like, right outside of Mount Rushmore, there's like a little town that's just all tourist trap stuff. So there's that. Let's see. Michael, I prefer traveling by train or coach and ferry rather than flying. Yeah, I don't like flying, but I have to do it because I travel so far. But I do like train. I like train travel. Coach travel, not so much anymore. I'm not physically built for coach travel, so there's a problem there. Christina, I have never bought a house outside the U.S. Maybe one day, but not right now. Kyle asks, what's your favorite national park? I think Johnson would say Grand Tetons. For me, it's tough. I really love Blue Ridge Mountains. Because I really like the Smoky Mountains because they had all the natural waterfalls, but I'd probably gotta go Glacier. Glacier's just gorgeous. Okay, so yeah. Hashmi. Any advice to stay at Yellowstone Park? I have a Dunce of Yellowstone video that'll be coming out in a couple weeks, so that'll give you some tips. One thing is, if you're trying to go this summer, you're getting a spot in the park is nearly impossible. It's already booked out. You can stay in West Yellowstone. Actually, we rented a cabin in Idaho and just drove in because Idaho is like 20 minutes from the park entrance of West Yellowstone. Or you can, if you want to stay in the north, you can stay in Bozeman and buy Bozeman and come down. Bozeman's great in Montana, but most of it is actually in Wyoming. When you're there, realize that your Google Maps timing is worthless, because if there's a moose or a bear or something, people just stop in the road and you're just stuck. Like, we spent an hour and a half going like a mile because there was a herd of moose just with their babies just there, and people just stopped and do that. And so is that. But so also, parking is not always when you see a parking spot, just take it. Don't be like, well, there might be a better one. No, right there. Just do that. Don't ever go off the walking path because you can die. So be careful with that. Paul Olson, have you ever visited a place where the locals are strongly unwelcoming to tourists? Not really. I mean, I know Amsterdam went anti-tourist a few years ago. So they took out the I Amsterdam sign from the downtown, and they put it in the North Amsterdam kind of area, and the other side of the water from the train station. Venice, I know they said, but the thing is people have still been very welcoming. So it's like they're like, oh, we don't want tourists. It's not you personal tourists we see there, but we don't want tourists. It's kind of like, well, I'm not going to go in there. That's getting a little too there. Nico, South America, best country for first time visiting. I would say Peru. You have a lot of. There's a great tourism infrastructure, lots of places to visit, lots of places you've heard of and seen in movies and stuff like that, or the History Channel, or whatever. So that's why I usually recommend that one. Pretty safe as well. Derek from Means to Travel. Whoa, surprise live stream. Happy Memorial Day, y'all. That's right. So you can check out Derek at Mr. Means to Travel on Instagram. He's got some great photos. Or you can see him pop up. We just put out a video on advice on business travel at Means to Travel. You'll see a Liz pop up here with Means to Travel. So there's that. So let's see. Yeah. So the I Amsterdam signs at the episode shoot pull if anyone wants to. It's like I'm Amsterdam, and then okay, bye. Oh, here's one. Gunjan, what places in the U.S. would you recommend for new parents taking their first trip with a baby? I would go mid-size cities. I wouldn't go for like Chicago, New York. Too much hustle bustle, especially if it's your new first baby. It's the first trip with your first baby. You're extra freaky outy. I mean, I've had them, so I understand what it is. Like our second kid, Liam, was like 6 weeks. I got a baby Bjorn. We're walking through Rome. I'm like, whatever. But I know like nerves with the first kid can be a much. I would shoot for like, Charleston, Savannah. Where else? Like I think I don't want to say second tier cities, but second tier size cities, just because you might get overwhelmed. More relaxing kind of stuff, like you're looking at Blue Ridge Mountains, you're looking at national parks. Are always easy with little kids, and if it's a baby, you're strolling around, you want to be able to walk with them. So look for walkable cities, and then you can take your stroller with you and do that. So. Michael, traveling is Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan on your list? Yes. Yes, they are. We'll get there eventually. Only so many times. So many pandemics have really messed with our schedule. I'm really trying to think of where we're going to go next and trying to get back into buying tickets and getting things set up things. So yeah. Bruce puts it perfectly. And this is one of the things I get upset with when people say, oh, everyone hates Americans and our treats is better because I wear my Canadian patch or whatever. I'm like, look, Bruce puts it right. Polite, respectful, and inquiring tourists are welcome everywhere. I have never been, one time a guy threw a punch at me because I was American, but he was super, super drunk. So that was a different time. And also I think, well, that's the whole other story, but yeah, all these years of travel. I mean, if you're a good tourist, if you're a good person, you're nice to people, and you're not like, why aren't you speaking English? Why aren't you doing this? They're back where I'm from, and you do that, people are gonna treat you bad everywhere. Like you bring your own problems. That's not because you're traveling, that's just you. But if you're polite and courteous, you'll be accepted anywhere. So Felix, where in the US is a good vacation where there are no scary wildlife and there are a lot of activities? Felix, we don't really have too much scary wildlife here. I mean, yeah, there's some gators in Florida, but like I would never really on my safety in the US, I don't really mention like bear attacks or whatever. So you have that. Christina wants to know scariest places I've visited. Well, there's never been a place that's been scary itself. There's been some situations I've been in. I was in Lima, and all of a sudden I was like in one of the main squares or whatever, and all of a sudden like all these people come running like a wave of people come running around the corner, and then everyone else starts taking off. I'm like, oh crap! So I'm like, I run over to the side so I don't get run over, and then these tanks are coming through the street. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, I'm out of here. I went back to my hotel. This is like 20 some years ago. No, yes, or the 25 years ago. It's been a while. And I was like, oh man, like that got scary. And then when I got shook down by the border patrol in Paraguay, I got a little scared there until I realized they were just shaking me down. Then I was like, oh, you're just trying to rip me off. So, but real scariest was when Liam got his hand smashed in the door in China, and we had to go to 3 different hospitals. That was kind of scary. But now I don't really go to really scary places because I wouldn't want to do that. Sue in the house. Thank you very much for the super chat, Sue. Thanks for the info. What's your favorite second cities in Europe, or what cities are underrated? Hello to the family. Thanks, Sue. I'll tell them hi. They're all, I guarantee they're still out cold. Liam might be up, but yeah, Joss was out. Kev's, and it's 9:30. He's 14. He ain't getting up. Of course, they say they'll probably wander down his underwear. Hey, Dad, what's up? Dude. Anyway, so second cities, I would say like if we take out like the big ones, there's the Londons and the Paris and Rome and Amsterdam and Prague and that we start going down farther. I look at places like Salzburg and Innsbruck in Austria, and I look at Bamberg, Nuremberg. Let's see where else in Germany. If I go in France, I'm looking at Bordeaux, Strasbourg, like that. In Porto is really nice. Spain, you're looking at the Cordobas, the Granadas, you're looking at the Rondas. If you're looking at the UK, you're doing York. If you're going to Ireland, you're looking at like Kilkenny is a nice smaller town that's worth checking out. So there's some there. So I hope that can give you some ideas, some like kind of second size cities to go to. David Stanley, you visiting Key West soon? I was just there 2 weeks ago. I spent the first week of May down at Key West. So I filmed, let's see, there's reasons why you'll get pissed off with your Airbnb. Key West to do that. The Don'ts of Key West, Eats in Key West, and Shocks of Florida was all filmed down there. So those will be coming out eventually. Betty Benson, have I done the catacombs in Rome? It was, 24 years ago. So I went. I don't remember much. So that's why I don't give advice on it. Oh, no. I did go another time. I went when Kayla was a baby. Not a baby. He was like 3. Yeah, it's not as claustrophobic causing as the ones in Paris. So it's a little bit easier to do. Though getting back from there was a pain, but that was before Uber. So, but we got back. That's actually by there is where Jocelyn found the most disgusting toilet ever. Now that I remember it. Let's see. Okay, AC Rigby, this is an important one. So my son, 21, has a severe peanut allergy, and I'm worried about him traveling abroad. Any experience with this? So if you're going to Europe, they're a lot more careful with stuff. Like when you go, okay, a few things. Look at the traditional foods of the place you're going to go. That's going to help you out. On the plane, if you book your tickets, you need to contact the airline and say, look, we're on this flight, and my son has severe peanut allergies. A lot of airlines will actually take peanuts and will not have it on that flight. Okay. And sometimes they'll actually announce we have severe peanut allergies. Please don't eat anything, so there is that. When you're going there, what we always recommend, like, because we have a lot of friends that have kids with severe allergies, and so we're like, look, there's actually things you can look up online for the country you're going to go to, and you can print off, this is the allergy, this is what they can't have, and you print that off, laminate it, so when you go to a restaurant, if you don't speak the language, you can say, hey, look, we have allergies. Maybe you learn that in that languages, and you give like, this can't be in there. And we've seen that if you're in a reputable restaurant, they'll be like, okay, we'll do what we can. We'll make sure that's not there. I like Italy, Germany, France, Spain. I've taken students with restrictions, and people have been very, very helpful. Because I had a student, like I'm not saying her name, so it doesn't matter. She couldn't eat gluten, not because she doesn't like gluten, but she was actually celiac. She couldn't do dairy. She was a bunch of stuff. And I've had where students have found out they're allergic to stuff when they're there. Oh, that was nothing like 3:00 in the morning at a 24-hour emergency pharmacy trying to find the equivalent of a Benadryl in Italian, speaking through the, hello, how are you? Could you hook up with some stuff? Oh man, it was tough. So, and take some extra EpiPens with you. Yes, Betty, the steps back up out of the Paris catacombs suck. Let's see. Ozzy Steel, coronavirus has definitely damaged your channel. Oh yeah, people didn't travel for a year. So we went from 3 to 4 million views a month, sometimes almost 5 billion views a month, to right at 1 million views a month until about December. Then we went back to 2 million, and now we're probably about 3 million views this month. So it's coming back. I mean, it's a travel channel. So that's what happens, Ozzy Steel. That's why you always look at other things. You find other options out there. That's why we have other channels and a day job. Okay. Gianluca, Walter, renting a car in Portugal purely for the sake of traveling to beaches, days outside the city, yes or no? If you're going to be going to Lisbon, you can, I don't know, it's worth the headache. I mean, because if you're going to go to Central, you can take, I'm going to guess you're in Lisbon, Gianluca. You can take the train from downtown, because you're probably going to stay in Barrio Alto or somewhere there. There's the train that's right there that takes you to Central. You can do that yourself. And you can walk down to Cais Sodré and take the trains out to the beaches that are going out by Cascais and Carcavelos closer. The only thing I would say is if you want to go to like Óbidos or some of the smaller towns, then a rental car is easier to do than taking a bus to a bus. So what you might do is figure out your trip, what you could just do with the local stuff. Instead of renting a car for like 6 days, you only rent the car for like 1 or 2 days and say, look, today is we're going to do we're gonna go to Fatima, we're gonna go to Obidus, we're gonna do a loop and see like Batalia. We're gonna see all these things for the day and just have the car for the day. It's doable. You can do it. It's not a problem, but it might just be easier, less headache, and save yourself €100 in the extra three days of having a car when you don't need it. So just something to kind of think about. Kyle, do your students ever give you crap about your channel? My colleagues actually give me more crap about my channel than my students. My students never liked my channel, and then they go study abroad. They come back and go, oh, your channel was so helpful, and everyone knew you. And they're like, oh, yeah, that was my professor. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah, so I help you make friends. You're welcome. But before they go, they don't really care. They don't care. I try not to talk about it anymore. I used to talk about it more in class, but I don't talk about it in class so much because I try to keep away. So I had one student who came up after class one day. He's like, dude, I checked out your channel. You actually have a big channel. I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks, man. But my colleagues used to give me a lot of crap about like, oh, Walter's World, and make fun of me when I come into meetings. And I'm like, were you on ABC Nightly News with Diane Sawyer? Because we were. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, I know. Your paper got read by 6 people. We got 6 million people. Whatever. So you can like humble brag about it. But no, the students have always been cool. Some will talk crap about it, and then people will be like, he's done fairly well. And he helps a lot of people. What's wrong with that? Like that's why there's channels I don't watch, but I'm not going to badmouth them. I'm like, it's just not my jam. Like they're doing their thing. So let's see. Ozzy of Steel, I have been. It was a long time ago. I was an exchange student in Temora, New South Wales, about like 90 minutes from Wagga. So I was down there way back in the day. So it was a good time. Good time down there. Like that's what was sad. Like when this all happened, we were supposed to go to Australia this last Christmas and spend about 3 weeks down there, but obviously it didn't happen. Thanks, Corona. Oh, Katie, thank you so much. Katie loves my channel, and I'll actually have my students will pop on occasionally, say hi, and they'll follow me later. I mean, I don't expect it's like anything. I don't expect everybody to like the channel and want to learn from it. I mean, because there's people that like I like to make our videos to help you travel for you, not to you to see us. Look at this cool stuff I'm doing. I'm awesome. I'm fantastic. No, it's like, look, I'm here to help you. Here's the advice. I'm going to do some stuff. Have a good day. Bye. So it's just a little bit different. Liliana, how are you today? I'm doing good. I just came back from Miami, had a good time, ate well, drank well, slept horribly. Not the place I was bad. I just couldn't sleep. So there's that. La Porta D. I thought you were an exchange student in Argentina. I was an exchange student in Finland. Okay, in high school, I went to Australia and Finland. In college, I went to Austria and Argentina. I did my master's in German, my PhD in Portugal. So I went a lot of places. So, Jakob Sockness sucks. Is cash still king in Europe? Not as much as it used to be. If you're going to Scandinavia, it's card. In Sweden, there's places that don't even accept cash anymore. If you're going to places, it's like the farther you go south, the more cash is important. Okay? Just so you have that. Scott Nia, are you fully vaccinated? Yeah, since March. So, Bessa, did you ever visit Albania? If not, are you planning to? So this summer, we were supposed to go down. So our plan for this summer, last summer, we were thinking about this summer, like, okay, we're not going to do a lot. We're going to just drive. We're not going to fly around. And so the plan was to go from Italy down to Greece, and we're going to hit, try to get all the countries on the way down. And so Albania was on the 2020 planned list from last summer, or for 2021. But now that's all gone up in smoke because it got to the point that I couldn't wait anymore to book stuff because it's just too much money. How things would increase. I'm like, look, we're just going to do U.S. stuff. We're going to do that. And so then everything got switched out. So let's see. Gunjan, I'm a new subscriber to your channel. I've been going all over your do's and don'ts videos, especially for countries that I visit. It's a lot of fun. Cool, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Chuck, taking a cruise from London on October 2022. Good. Plenty of time to get things under control. What do you recommend to see you do in London for about 3 days before or after the cruise? I like how you're saying doing stuff before or after the cruise. Because a lot of people like fly into the cruise and fly out. Give yourself a couple of days on either end so you can go explore more or get comfortable. And if you're going to come from like, Chuck, I don't know where you're coming from, but if you're like flying in from the US, give yourself those days at the beginning to get like adjusted to the time change. So you're not like getting the jet lag on the boat because jet lag plus seasickness is no good. But if you're there, Okay, British Museum is your number one thing you got to see. It's free too. Go to the British Museum. Change in the guard. Go there for one of those. Let's see. Just honestly walking around, seeing Parliament, walking along the Thames, going to a pub. Go to a pub. I mean, you can go to a chippy and get fish and chips. Just go to a pub and have English fare there. You'll have a good time. Let's see. National Gallery is nice. Tate Modern's nice for modern art. What I'm going to say is if it's not like a free museum, the prices are really, really high. So if you go to like St. Paul's, I mean, it's going to be like $20 a person, $25 a person. There's Westminster Abbey, which also I think it was like 16, 17 pounds last time I was there, which is like $25. It's worth it to go in to do that. But like Madame Tussauds, don't go that. It's like $50. It's not worth it. It's not. It wouldn't be worth it for me. At least it's not worth it for $20. So there's that. We always go to Chinatown and go eat dim sum there. That's always a good thing. Yeah, Tower of London. Victoria Dallas points out the Tower of London is pricey, but I think it's worth it. And go on one of the Beefeater tours. The guys are all dressed up, and they'll tell you the history and stuff. And that's really a fun thing. It's not just going to see the crown jewels and the tower. It's the whole experience when you go to the tower. That's really worth it. Oh, Salisbury. Salisbury's nice. Yeah, Salisbury's a nice place to visit. Been there a few times. You can easily get to Cambridge for a day trip. I mean, if you want to go farther afield, you can go to Bath. Bath's beautiful, and on the way you can hit Stonehenge when you're out there. So you don't actually have to stay. Like you could fly in and do like a few days in London to like get situated, and then give yourself a couple days, 2 or 3 days at the end of your cruise if you have the time, and then do the Bath and other things. Just so I got my time changes fixed. I'm feeling good. I have a good feel for England or London and stuff. Let's go on the tour. Then just when you come back, okay, we're gonna hit up Bath. So my my pointer just died. I need to get a new keyboard here. Gunjin, if you're in Illinois, can you please do a meet and greet event for your fans in Chicago? Also, thanks for pronouncing my name. Well, thank you. I'm glad I got it well. Don't find many people in the U.S. who can do that. Well, it's Gunjin. That's what it looks like. Now, Srivastava, that I'm sure I butchered. I'm sorry, Gunjin. So we don't do too many fan meetups because a few years ago there was a few YouTubers actually got killed. So not that I think you're going to do that, but there was a time we used to get a lot of death threats because people didn't like what we said about their country. Because I'd be like, yeah, you got to pick up there's a lot of dog poop on the street. And they'd be like, what? How dare you say something bad? I see you, I'm going to kill it. I'm like, whoa. So we've kind of steered away from that. But if we're up in there, we might say, hey, we're going to head there. And then, I mean, we have met up with fans individually, but the group ones that's one thing that Jocelyn's been very much like. And with what's happened to some other people, that's why we haven't done. So because people ask us that quite often, and it's more like, hey, we're going to be in this town eventually. That's why I don't a lot of times, I don't always put videos up from the town I'm in at that time because it takes time to edit it as well. But also just because, I mean, there was a time when I was filming in Germany that I would be looking around because I would gotten so many threats. So that's one of the reasons why. Because there's some crazy people out there. So anyway, next up. Yes, I got to remember that my keyboard isn't working. Mr. Jeff Griff, any tips for the first big time vacation? I've been working since I was a teenager, saving and turned 21 in lockdown, and been waiting to get out and start exploring. So any advice on traveling? Okay, so Jeff, are you going to go by yourself? Are you going to go with friends? Is it like, where do you live? What I would say, if it's your first trip, your first one, what's the one place you've always wanted to go to? Like, this is it. Like, I get to go where I want to go. And that's why it's your trip. It's your special thing. When you bring other people into it, hi, Liam. Love you, buddy. Liam's up. When you bring other people, then they're like, well, I want to do this. I want to do this. Remember, this is your first trip, your first vacation. You need to figure out, what do you want to do? You want to just chillax? Want to hit the beach? Do you want to go party the night away? Do you just want to I want to go see some culture and party? That's going to really kind of influence what you do. So that would be something I kind of think about. Because I don't know where you are. The money side of it has been saving up. Because one thing I would say is flying to another country, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go to Europe. It's expensive. Well, no, Europe's more expensive to travel to, but hotels in Europe are a lot cheaper than hotels in the U.S. Take my word for it. And so you have more options. So there is that. So I think, think your ideas. You can always write me on Facebook at Walter's World. You can direct message me there or on Instagram at Walter's World or Twitter at Walter's World, and we can talk more there to help you out. So yeah, I keep trying. So I have one of these. Yeah, it's a Surface that has the keyboard. This keyboard keeps dying on me. Hence why. Thank you for the super chats because I need to buy a new keyboard. Hold on. Now my computer's like, wait, do you want to switch out of tablet mode? I'm like, no, I just want the keyboard to work. Oh, Betty, any different food suggestions for Rome? Calcio e pepe. Calcio, soccer and pepe. No, noodles with pepper is good. There's artichokes, fried, not dandelions. I'm seeing them in my mind right now. There's a fried plant. It's a fried leaves you eat. I can't remember what it is. Josh will know what it was. I can't. My brain is just dying on me. But there's some pasta that actually has sausage in it, which is really good in Rome. You can have that. You'll eat really well. Just honestly, you'll see where all the tourists are. Walk not one, not two, but walk 3 blocks away from where the tourists are. You'll find a good place that's probably half the price of those things in the tourist areas, and half the price, double the flavor. So there's fried zucchini flour. Thank you, Michael. Oh, now it's working. Michael, fried zucchini flowers. Yes, have that. Michael, you travel the world. Connor, I'm going to Cancun in a few weeks. Do you think it might go on lockdown and mess up my plans? If it hasn't gone on lockdown yet, I don't think so. So present. Oh, Chris, this sucks, man. My girlfriend is from Sweden and wants to travel here to visit me. Due to the pandemic, we haven't been able to visit and meet each other in person since we met. Do you have any advice? So, for those of you who don't know, I actually lived in Portugal, and Johnson was living in Georgia when we started dating. Like we were just talking online, and so I visited in the U.S. a few times, but a lot of time I was doing my PhD. I was working there, so we actually would Skype. Before Zoom, we would Skype. Every single day. And one thing is, we actually got to talk and really get to know each other. So I would say with this, really get the chance to really get to know each other. And so there's all these questions. I mean, I know it's just a girlfriend, but we were talking before we got engaged. Before we got engaged, we went through all this it was like 20 questions to ask before you get married, 100 questions to ask before you get engaged, and just go through those and just be honest with each other. And what's interesting is you'll get to know each other better. It's like, I understand where you stand on this issue and this issue versus find out later on that, what? You don't like macaroni and cheese? Like if I would have known that Jocelyn puts, they didn't talk about the macaroni and cheese question. She puts hot sauce in her macaroni and cheese. Blasphemy. I don't know if it would have worked out. No, but you doing that and having the time to talk and really talk, and it'll help you get to know each other better. Also, I think one thing you could do, there's like the screen share. There's also the movie share, like watching movies together when you're online from a distance, and also helping you learn Swedish as well. So that could be something there. So just you're finding other things to occupy your time versus I miss you too, I love you too. You need to have some substance. So, but since you've been talking, you've been away from each other for so long, you're used to that. So you're doing fine. Let's see. Best food in Finland, Hesburger. No, I love Hesburger. That's what I love. I honestly, if you get anything with mushrooms are huge in Finland. Like people go hunt mushrooms all the time. Anything with a mushroom sauce is gonna be good. I like salmon or any fish with mushroom sauce, and they have these little potatoes, and they'll take a little potato and they'll peel it like this. It'll be peeled. I'm like, how the heck did you do that? But you have like little potatoes and mushroom sauce with fish. It's unbelievable. So good. So good. They'll try to get you to eat salmiakki, which is black licorice candy, which tastes like salt and it's horrible. Horrible. People either love it or they want to never look at it ever again. You can guess which side I'm on. Let's see. Hi, how is November a good time to visit Venice? When is the best time? I don't know the best time. Venice can be a bit wet, and that's where it can flood a bit. So have a heads up for that. I usually like going in the spring because then things are starting to warm up, and then things are getting ready for carnival and stuff. So that's kind of nice. But I mean, you can enjoy it any time of the year. It just gets really packed in the summer with tourists. It gets packed all year round, really. But in the summer, it's really bad. But I mean, November doesn't have hardly any tourists there for them. So there is that. Let's see. Scott Neal. I think there's scope for a relationship channel. Walter's dating tips. Yeah, Jocelyn and I've talked about doing something to like, hey, how we made our long-term relationship work. Because there are a lot of people that, we probably should have done that when this started. If we would have known that COVID and Zooming would have been a thing, like, hey, this is how we survived and made it and have been married for a long time now. And this is before you had way more interactive internet. So, Chicken Masala, how far in advance do you film videos? It all depends. Like I might film the Miami video I filmed yesterday morning, and I might put it out next week. But then it might not come for a year because it just when is the right time to do that. And then sometimes like there's some videos I have ready to put out, but then something will happen. Like I have a bunch of France videos that I want to put out. Well, this is before, and I was going to put out a bunch of France videos, and there was an attack in Nice, and I had the Love and Hates of Nice and Don'ts of France, and not Don'ts of France, but Love and Hate of Nice and some other stuff. I'm like, well, I can't put that out now, like, because what'll happen is if you put something out on YouTube that is anyway related to something that is like a tragedy, they will demonetize it, and you'll get kind of in trouble for that, and so it won't get shown to people. So even if it's like the day before, they'll still get, nope, we're not gonna let you do it. You're taking advantage of a situation, so you have to wait. And so I'll end up like there's some things I've waited. Like Morocco, I was about to put out some of our Morocco videos, and then these two girls got beheaded. That was bad. And I'm like, I can't put those out for 6 to 8 months, so I push it back. So they're always there. Flimbo, yes, been to Edinburgh quite a few times. Love Edinburgh. Good time to be had. There's one. Watchman's Archive. This goes back to our buddy who couldn't see his girl. If you can't meet each other in Sweden, you can meet in another country like Macedonia or Mexico that has no travel restrictions. That is another option. You're right. There are a number of people that are doing that. It's the way they can actually see. Actually, now that you bring this up, thank you, Watchman's Archive, that I've actually written on here about that. Might have been you. So there is something there. Looking for 2022 for Vienna and possibly Switzerland. I know it's pricey, but for train trips. Hey, yeah, Switzerland's pricey, but for train trips, it's probably the most beautiful train rides you'll ever see. So it's worth it. Vienna's not that expensive anymore. Technically right now I'm a visiting lecturer in Vienna because I teach there in the summers. Sadly, the last 2 years have been virtual, so I'm teaching in Vienna, but from my house in Illinois. So, yeah. So there's that. Let's see. Best food in Montana, bison, chicken fried steak. Actually, if you look up what to eat in Montana, simply Jocelyn, we have it on Jocelyn's channel about what to eat in Montana, so that'll help you out. Just watch your OBX video. Is there anything else you would recommend doing or any heads up? So people ask me a lot, like, what other information you have? Like, I try to put everything I've got. I don't hide anything for myself. I know I've talked to some other YouTubers and they're like, I'm not going to tell you this. That's my stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to make a video on it. They're like, no, I don't want to share everything. I don't want to share things with people. I want to keep it, my secrets. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I try to get everything out there. So I got most of the stuff there. I will say, get to Duck Donuts early and get me some donuts because they're good. Eric Svart, hope I'll be able to teach in Vienna again. I hope so too, my friend. I hope so. Glenn is heading to Croatia in 2 weeks. You'll love it. So much fun. Connor's asking best food in Spain. So for me, my favorite food in Spain is actually the tapas, the little things you'll eat, like patatas bravas, which are potatoes with like a spicy sauce on top. Fantastic. Maybe octopus. Maybe you have some of the manchego cheese, or you have the ham they'll cut for you. That's so good. But like just little bites when we're drinking, that's my favorite stuff to eat when I'm there. Like that, I just love. Robert Dia, planning on Peru this year. I know COVID's bad there, but my wife is from there and she hasn't been there since '99. We need to go back for immigration stuff. Yeah, I mean, one thing, Robert, I would want both of you to be vaccinated before you go. Fully vaccinated, just so for your own safety kind of stuff. I don't know what Peru's plan is for letting people in, so I can't really say, but fingers crossed everything works out for you, my friend. And for your wonderful wife. Let's see. Oh, Nick, will the Illini have a good season? Illini never, in what? Sports we were supposed to be good at and go out in the second round, or football where we never... I'm not expecting much. I'm just happy that my students play well, and that's what's important. Oh, hey, Brig. So, M. Alpha Sierra, is it a good idea to plan a vacay to Rome, Florence now? What's your input? Yeah, I mean, you can. You'll be fine. I mean, they're opening up for tourists, so you can plan these things out. And when you're looking to go, I don't know when you're looking to go, but that's something to think about. Go Bucks! Yeah, so we were in Miami. I was because the Bucks played the Heat in Miami yesterday, and every single TV screen had the Heat game on. Like they really love the Heat in Miami. Like that, they really they really love the Heat there. Do you live to travel or travel to live? I just travel. I just travel. Like this is what I do. Um, yes, Ozzy of Steel, exactly right. When you travel, remember there's positive and negative everywhere you go in the world. No country is perfect. That's right. And that's why when people get mad at me because I say good and bad stuff, they're like, why don't you just look at your own country? I'm like, I do. We literally have hundreds of videos on the US and the good and the bad are going there too. They're like, well, I'm like, dude, you got to be honest with yourself. Every city, every town, every country, there's good and bad. Just like when you go to a restaurant, there's some good stuff on the menu, there's some bad stuff on the menu that you wouldn't eat. There's some fantastic things. Just got to figure which one's right for you. Let's see. I'm a big Mavs fan. Go Mavs. I can't. Yeah, if they would have beat the Clippers last night at home, that would have been over. Florentine, you inspired me to travel 4 years ago. Thank you. I'm glad you are very welcome. I'm glad I could help bring another person into the crazy times. Gianluca, Ursa Galapinos Beach in Lisbon. I can't. I don't think so. I might have been because when I lived there, I had friends. We just go over. You're looking on the south side of the river, or we just go to whatever beach was there. I never knew what the names were at the time. And then when Jocelyn was there and Caleb was there, then we usually stayed on the like Carcavelos, or we go down to Estoril and we go there to those beaches because it was easier with the kid. So yeah, Michael traveling the world. Remember the Saddam Hussein comment? By far the nastiest. That's actually not the nastiest comment. So for those who don't know, on one of my videos about Portugal, a guy wrote and said I deserve the same fate as Saddam Hussein. That's how long ago it was, like when that happened. But since then, we've had some other horrible, horrible things people have written. But people will hide behind whatever. Do you ever do Asia? So I worked in China and did videos while I worked there. In Japan, we've had that. Our Southeast Asia trip got canceled because we had a wedding to go to, so that switched things up. So we've gone to a couple places, but there's more we're going to do. Don't worry. And this actually, Steve, this brings me up to a thing that people will get mad at me about. Like, why don't you do Asia? Why don't you do South America? Why don't you do Africa? Why don't you do the US? Like, why are you only Europe? And I'm like, we actually do have videos. Like, we've got dozens of videos from Japan and China. We've got hundreds of videos from Central and South America. And we've got, probably have like a dozen videos from over a dozen videos, probably a couple of dozen videos from Africa. But people, the thing is what you see, what gets recommended to you is based on what you watch, what the watcher is. So people just watch my videos for Europe. They only get Europe videos shown to them. So that's why when I put out an Africa video, it gets no views. I put out, a small town US video, it's never getting any views. If I put out South America, it's very little views. I put out Europe, tons of views, because Europe's like, oh, you've watched the don'ts of London, you've watched the don'ts of Paris, so he has the don'ts of Athens. We're going to show that to you. But since you're not watching videos on traveling to Africa, it doesn't show them. So that's one of the things that's there. So and not I'm not trying to mean you to Steve. I'm just saying that's something that comes up. So we have that. There's one. Damian Palmer, where are your kids' favorite places? Liam will tell you it's Mexico. Caleb really like Costa Rica and Iceland, but I think his favorite is Rwanda. So there's that. My beautiful bride is here, but
she's in her pajamas.
Sorry. Only I get to enjoy that view. I see you spilled on yourself too.
I was washing dishes.
Oh, she was washing dishes. There you go.
Good morning, everyone.
So Jocelyn says good morning, and now she's gone. John wants to know what's my favorite neighborhood to stay in Paris. We always stay in Montmartre. I don't know if it's the best one to stay in, but for us, it's become like a neighborhood we know really well because we've stayed there for 15 years now, and we probably stayed there about 20 times. Just because it's got a lot of good restaurants. It's family oriented. You can go around and do stuff that's there. It's cool. There's multiple metro lines that go through there, so it's a nice combination of stuff. Mike, no-go zones. Hey, Walters, I will be traveling to Iraq in 2 weeks and film my experience. I would love to discuss my experience when I return. That's cool. Let me know. Reach out to me at Walters World on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or Twitter, and we can talk about it. But be safe, my friend. I know it'll be a crazy experience. It'll be a fun time. So, and that's one of the things, like Iran has some really incredible things to visit, but the safety issues keep people away, which, most people to go that. So, but Mike, I guess Mike no-go zones. You focus on the no-go zones. Da-da-da, hints in the name. But that's why, like, when places change, they get safe. It's like, or safe enough, we go. Like, that's why we go to Nicaragua, we go to El Salvador. People are like, I don't want to go. I'm like, no, yeah, there are issues, but you can go and see stuff and to show that. So, Mike, I'm sure you're going to show places like, look, this is the no-go zone, but when you feel comfortable to go, you can go. Boom, here's the thing there. So, looking forward to it. Oops. Watch your Prague videos. I found the Honest Guy channel before I went to Prague. Yeah, Stuart. Yeah, Prague. Yeah, Honest Guy. There, we were supposed to work together last summer because it was going to be in Prague, and then of course it got canceled and stuff. But yeah, no, Honest Guys. They're fun. I like them. I like them. They do a good job. And they have some fun stuff. I'm glad they're expanding. Like, they're doing Prague, and they started doing other cities and other parts of the Czech Republic. They actually got a medal from the Czechia government for what they're doing and helping promote Czech tourism and stuff. So it's really cool. Like, they're making a difference and helping out. So that's awesome. So Alex wants to know, I've been to Fiji, and is the water really from there? No, I don't think the water is really from Fiji. So sadly I've never been. I wish I had. Jennifer Benzie, morning. Hope you're doing well. Sandra Lozada. Okay, how long does it take to make a video? So for me to make a video, I will go through probably, 3 or 4 guidebooks and go through about 100 blogs and watch about 10, 15 videos about a destination before I write anything, before I look anything up. I have an idea what I'm going to do, and then I go to the location, and while I'm there, I have my own experiences, and then I'll write my script when I'm there. And the thing is because I don't want to repeat and pair what other people say. I'm like, look, that's your experience. My experience. That's why you'll see people will comment, well, that's not like that. I'm like, I'm just giving you my personal opinion. This is what happened to me there and how I felt as a me, and so then I go, and then that's why I usually don't like, if I film something early in a trip or early in a visit to a destination, I'll film like, hey, what you're not going to like about Airbnbs, or the Real ID. What do you need to know about the Real ID program? Because those ones, they're not destination specific. Like, for example, Miami, I was there for 4 days. On the 4 days. So literally 2 hours before we went to the airport, I filmed the Dunce of Miami. So I had all that time really getting to feel an idea. But before that, I filmed travel insurance and what you need to know about travel insurance. And I filmed some business videos as well for my Professor Walters channel to do that. So then I had enough experience. Now I feel more comfortable talking about the food of Florida and the Dunce of Miami. So then there's that. And then and usually, like, I film, like, if you watch a 15-minute video of ours, usually the I just do it in one go, and it'll be, that's why we're not as cool as some of the other channels where they're filming in different locations, all the kind of different stuff. I'm like, look, I don't experience these things. I'm just gonna put my tripod up, talk to the camera, I'll put in the B-roll, we'll do that. But when I'm just standing there talking for like a 15-minute video, it might be anywhere from 17 to 20 minutes of raw footage. So I gotta cut that down to 15 minutes. And then put in the B-roll, put in the text, all those things. So it takes some time. It does take some time. Jack Drysdale, you'll never guess where we decided to go later this year. Originally, we were going to go at, I think, right after Christmas, but I think we're going to go earlier than that. Now that they announced that in July, Europeans could be able to start coming to Ireland. Northern Ireland's different, I know that, but we're doing an Northern Ireland visit, and they're have the border open, so you can still do that. So we will be there later this year, my friend. We will be there. Let's see. The Great Escape. Thank you very much for the super chat. Traveling is the best way to understand the. Oh, dude, what the hell? Fuck you. Get that shit out of here. Man, dude. Yeah, block user. You're done, Great Escape. Shut up. That's just horrible. That's horrible. Get that. Keep that crap out of my channel. And go F yourself. Sorry. Sometimes I don't see because all it shows me is the super chat. So I push the super chat button and it pops up. So I apologize, people, for dumbasses like that. Let's see. Yeah, Bubba, right. Human garbage. That's what that dude is. Human garbage. Yeah. That's why so usually so right now I'm using StreamYard, and StreamYard gives me a little thing on here, so you can't read all of it if it's a longer one. So the YouTube one, I see all this stuff, and this is why, yeah. So yeah. Yeah, Lori, I told him his counts were not nice, but I cannot. Yeah, sorry about that. I love you. Sorry. Where is it? Matthew, I love it when you use technical terms. Yeah. D-bags are everywhere. Yeah. He was fishing. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's one thing, guys. We never talk politics on here. And obviously, I don't want any garbage like that on here. So, whatever. Moving on. We'll go to a side topic. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Laura. Here's your $5 back from that guy. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Because here's the thing. So I banned him. I think he gets his money back. The thing is, if I could have banned him and kept his money, but another thing. Because, idiots and their money should easily be separated. And thank you guys for helping me out with that. Great bomb ever. Thank you. Anyway, okay. Let's get back to travel stuff. Okay. Where to stay in New Orleans? So you can stay. I wouldn't stay necessarily in the French Quarter because it's just too loud. You can stay in the Garden District, or you can just stay on the other side of Canal. There's some hotels there, so you don't get the noise. You can kind of get away from the craziness of the French Quarter at night, and so you can sleep better. But I would stay downtown. I wouldn't stay outside because driving is a pain. I always park, leave the car, and then get it at the end. But there are a lot of options you have there. So Jack wants to know where we're going to Northern Ireland. So I want to do a couple whiskey stops. I want to take the kids to Belfast. I'm going to show them that. We're going to Giant's Causeway, and then we're going through Derry/Londonderry. We're going through that, then coming down that way through into the Republic. Let's see. Sandra, honeymoon in Netherlands. Congratulations on the honeymoon. So don't stay in Amsterdam. You want to stay, if you want to do Amsterdam stuff, that's fine. I would stay in Utrecht, okay, or Haarlem. A lot less crazy, a lot more calm, a lot less people going there to get drunk and high and stuff like that. And beautiful towns and places you can go sit outside and eat and have a little more romanticness than in Amsterdam itself. You can also go to the beaches. I'm forgetting the name of the town I went to when I was there, but something to think about for there. And awesome, congratulations. Let's see. Okay, Anthony, this is a really good one. I got some super chats came in, but I got to look first. I'll make sure I'm going to open it up, see if I can open it up myself. Because it's like I click on it on this thing over here, and then it pops up on this. I'm like, no, I wanted to read it. So we're all learning. So Anthony Josh, any countries you recommend during turn based off of on weather, concerts, festivities? So festival countries that are like what make countries better to visit: Lithuania, Finland. Finland has great concerts in the summer and festivals. Like that's really cool. Like basically, like colder weather places have incredible summer festival seasons. Okay, so look at some of those. U.S. has got great festival stuff. If you're looking towards carnival time, South and Central America has got a lot of good festivals going on. So those are some I have there. Let's see. Caroline Nagal, thank you very much for the super chat. And no bad words and no things there. So there's that. Betty Benson, great, double that idiot money. Here you go. Thank you, Betty. I appreciate that. And that's true. There is nothing political about decrying racism. Good point, Diana. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, don't worry. I give you advice. Don't call Northern Ireland Irish. Oh, don't worry. That's the first don't, and I have on the don'ts of visiting Northern Ireland because we were going to go. So last October, we were going to do a road trip because the kids had like a week off school, and we were going to do just spend 10 days, going around the Republic and Northern Ireland. But I kind of partial out some of the script. But like that was like, no, I gotta have that one number one. Like, hey, don't. So yes, don't walk in the bike lanes. If you enjoy living, don't walk in the bike lanes. Oh, Bubba, thank you very much. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for being awesome and informative. Thank you for being awesome. I appreciate that. Andrew Gilchrist, how much do you love Lisbon? I love it so much that usually once a week, my wife and I will talk about moving back there. So that's one of those things that really meant a lot to us. Okay, Chris Asher. So here's what's great. Chris asked, best cities outside Paris for first-time visitors. So I always recommend doing day trips when you're in Paris because Paris makes a great base, and there's the TGV, the fast trains. I mean, you can get like anywhere in the country in a few hours. So if you want to have a long day, you can totally do it and go see a lot of stuff. But for me, like relatively close day trips, Versailles to see the Palace of Versailles, Fontainebleau, which was the Palace of Versailles before they built Versailles. That's a good one to go see. You can go to Giverny in the north and go see Monet's the water lilies and stuff. You can do that. You can go out to Rouen, actually, touching. I mean, some people do a D-Day beach, and that's a long day, but you can go out and see some of the D-Day beaches in Normandy. You could do that. Loire Valley is like a 2-hour train ride, so you can go down and see, some of do a tour and see a couple of castles, chateaus, and then get back. So there is that option. So Troyes is nice as well. Chartres, it's a nice small town, small city, and it has like their cathedral's got 2 different towers, which is kind of nice. So there is that. Ashta, don't worry, Sri Lanka is in our plans for the future. I like to tell people our plans for our travels is kind of like a card pyramid. It's like, okay, we've got, this is the things we know we're going to do, and then after that we're going to do this and we're going to do this. But if one thing gets pulled out, something gets messed up, like the pandemic came and pulled out a card and it all fell down. So like what was going to be the first thing we're going to see, now everything's there. It's like, hey, let's open it up. What we're going to go see. When can it fit with the kids' schedules? Because now the kids are older. Here's a little secret. If you ever notice, when you see those people that are the traveling the world families, a lot of times if they have little kids, because little kids don't go to school. Or if they do, you can homeschool them. And you can world school. People do world school. It's not impossible. But we've done it before. But when they get older, I mean, Caleb's 14. He's going to be a freshman in high school. He wants to be on the soccer team. He wants to be there. And you know what? I mean, I can teach him calculus, okay, but I can't teach him advanced British literature. I was like, look, he needs somebody that is trained in that, right? And so, therefore, you don't see as much teenage kids in their families going. It's always little ones because. And sometimes I have one older kid. It's like one older kid, but once the second one gets there, it's like, look, we gotta step back a bit. So trying to figure out the time because Sri Lanka, we're looking to put together with another trip. So it's part of what we would say is a 2 to 3 month trip. So it's a summer thing, which is so it's like, okay, maybe we do a winter. I mean, don't worry. Thank you for the super chat, and we will be there. Don't worry about that. I love the fall for Toronto, New York. Yeah, it's really nice there. So EVP, would you expect to come back to Morocco one day? Yeah, we had a good time. I mean, Johnson, I have a 511 Hates of Marrakesh that Jocelyn has a part that will not seem like we want to go back, but we do. It's just because of her experiences, but we would go back for sure. Okay, Philip, you only got a chance for one museum in Berlin. I'll give you 2 choices. You can go to the Checkpoint Charlie Museum that talks about the Berlin Wall and Checkpoint Charlie and all the stuff there for the stories. You want to read about the stories there. That's one. But for a history type museum, you want to go to the Pergamon Museum. It has the gates of Babylon, kind of like the Pergamon gates. The Pergamon altar is there. The Ishtar gates. I mean, it's incredible. That's my favorite museum in Germany. Like that's where you want to. That's my favorite one. But those are 2 ones I'd go to. Michael, when do you think DC will be okay to visit again? Not just with reopening, but with the Capitol building situation. You could go back now. Go to TripHacks DC on YouTube or the website. Rob, my buddy, he does tours there. And he's like, business is back. People are coming. Things are opening up again. So, Ross CEO, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the years of content. I finally got my passport. Awesome. Looking forward to traveling internationally. That is so cool. I am glad you got the passport. Now it's time to get you out there. Now we can start going places. So fingers crossed, get someplace cool you can go to. Amber, Mark, thank you. Love your channel. I appreciate it. Could you tell us your favorite place or place in the Caribbean, coastal Central America? Thanks. Okay, so Caleb will say Jamaica, and I love Jamaica. I got plenty of videos on Jamaica. We really enjoy our time there. People sometimes get upset because there's a lot of touts trying to sell you stuff, and people get really upset and they start yelling at them. So realize that's how they make a living. There's no social net there that they're going to live on. They don't sell something they don't eat. So if you're respectful to them, like, hey, I already got my souvenirs, but I appreciate you, man. Thanks, respect. Fist bump, they're fine. Yeah, and they leave you alone. But just know that gets some people, but we love Jamaica. We all love Jamaica. We'd go back there, no problem. Let's see. Nicaragua would be Jocelyn's favorite, but not for the coast. She liked Grenada, Nicaragua, because the Isletas and the Lake Nicaragua and stuff there. That was two of our favorites. I know Nicaragua's got some safety issues right now, but those two right there would be the two big ones, I would say. It would be to other ones. Like Turks and Caicos was nice, but it's so expensive, and I'm not a good lay on the beach and do nothing kind of guy. It was just a bit much. So anyway. Ronnie Dub, Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic? I would probably go Puerto Rico because you can explore on your own. Dominican Republic, you're on your all-inclusive or you're getting someone to take you someplace because of safety stuff. So Puerto Rico is to go. I think I'm going to go to Puerto Rico on a guy's trip here early next year. Jesse wants to know, will you be watching the Champions League final? Yes, I will. Chelsea versus Man City. That's coming up later today at, I think it's 3 p.m. Central or no, 3 p.m. Eastern. Can't remember what time it was. I still remember we were watching the Champions League final where Liverpool came back and won, and we were in Madrid and we were watching our hotel. And I'm like, it was like halftime. I'm like, Mom, Dad, it's over. Let's go get dinner. And so we go down to have dinner, and we go to the restaurant, and there's no TV in the restaurant, so we're just eating, we're watching. And then we come back. It's relative. I mean, you got 45 half. So we come back, and I'm like, oh, it's still on? I'm like, it should have been over with. Halftime's like half an hour, and then 45, I guess. And Ellie was like, oh, it's overtime. So I'm like, it's that. Oh, my God. And so we got to watch the very end of that one. I was like, oh, it's so cool. And then I remember when Man U came back and beat Bayern. I think it was 99. And Bayern's like, yeah, we got this one. And Lothar Matthäus like subs out because we've got this one. And then I think Man U scores like 2 goals in the last 2 minutes, and they win. And you're like, ah. So it's always fun. It's always fun. Dia, thanks to you and Samantha Brown. I was here with the traveling bug early in life. That's awesome. She is super sweet. She is so nice. Like, I know that's one thing is she was on one of Anthony Bourdain's shows, after she had been let go by the Travel Channel, whatever. I mean, that people just is not like whatever. And he was like, she played a fake version of herself. How she's like, oh, you say all I talk about is positive stuff. It's like, yeah, she's a positive person. There's nothing wrong with being positive. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, Lisa Tomber, would you recommend the south of France or northern Italy? They are two very, very different places. I would. That's tough. Like, you can't go wrong with either of them. When are you going? If you're going winter-ish, I would do southern France. If you're going summer-ish, I would go northern Italy. Ha! See, I got both answers. Depends on when you're going. Hans, hi Mark, love your channel. What's your favorite place in Norway? So for me, actually, my favorite thing doing Norway is taking the boat trips into the fjords, because that's when you're just like, God, this country is so beautiful. And like you just sit there and you're like, wow. And you just take like 90 pictures of the exact same fjord. Sorry, I'm just thinking when I was putting together one of my Norway videos, I'm like, how many freaking pictures of the exact same thing? Oh, so Amit just got back from Phoenix, Vegas, and LA. First time out west. Mark, what's your favorite out of those 3? Phoenix is just sprawl. I didn't like Phoenix very much. Vegas is great. I don't gamble, but Vegas has got so much to do. LA is so much. I'm going to be filming LA later this year, so you'll have by Christmas, probably for around Christmas time, I'll put out my Don'ts of LA, Shocks of LA, What's Eating LA, Is LA Safe? Advice, all those videos will come out then. I'd probably go Vegas. So just for as a tourist, because Vegas is easy to get around because you got the Strip, and then you can Uber to, like, you got Red Rocks and you got the Valley of Fire, and you got Lake Mead, and you got all this other stuff. So it's less stressful in Vegas than it is in LA. So there's one place you could visit. Which would it be? Egypt. That I have not been to. That's the one place I've never been to. That would be number one. So yeah, Paul. Yeah, that's wonderful. Exactly. Ozzy of Steel. I saw 2020 Tokyo Olympic poster 2016 when I was in Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, when we were there too, it was all over the place. And I was like, maybe we should come back for the Olympics. And well, that didn't happen. So I didn't know. And tourists can't even come this year for it. Bubba, yeah, 306 watching, only 191 thumbs up. Quan fellow travelers, yeah, please give us a thumbs up. It does make a difference. I do appreciate it. Lets me know if we should keep doing the live feeds, because I know right now it's Memorial Day weekend, so people are going out for a great weekend of fun and relaxation, getting back out to living life and loving life, and I appreciate you all actually being on here on the Saturday of Memorial Day. I know when I get off this, the scams of Budapest will be coming up about a half hour after I go off. So there'll be actual video for today. So we'll have that. But yeah, that's good stuff. So please, thumbs up. I appreciate it. Let's see. Ken Sterling, travel for sporting events, Formula One, MotoGP, Isle of Man, maybe tennis, football, or other regional events like bullfighting, etc. Advice. So when you go to sporting events, it depends what one you're going to go to. Because some things, like if you're going to go to, like, you're in the U.S., you want to go to a baseball game, there's so many baseball games that it's sometimes easier to get tickets. If you're going to go to like a World Cup game, there's a lottery and it gets a little more complicated. I know I've been to, I've gone to multiple European championships, or European Euro Cup, like qualifiers. And getting those tickets, I've gone to 2 times. It was Portugal versus Serbia. Those were easy tickets to get. But when I wanted to get like a big game like Europe versus Spain, I wasn't getting them. Also, be careful if you're going, like in Argentina. Yeah, you go to a game of Boca is great, but I wouldn't recommend going to the derby of Boca, the El Clásico, which is Boca versus River Plate, because then there's a lot of stuff going on. And there's certain football games, like it's a little different situation. So it depends where you're going to go. Like, so yeah, going to Wrigley for a game of baseball is like, hey, it's Wrigley, it's fun, and it's more of an experience to go in there. Going to an Ohio State football game, like everyone is so big into it. Georgia, like everybody's into the game, having a good time beforehand. So it's something to think about. So look at the team you're going to do, tickets, stuff like that. I usually recommend, if you're going on a vacation or you're going someplace for those games, buy up. Like, I used to go to a lot of Cardinal games when I was a kid. We'd sit like in the nosebleed sections, because we go to a lot of games. But now I'm like, look, I'm only going to one game. Like we went, I know this is a bad example because it's cheap seats, but it was Caleb's first baseball game. I'm like, well, you've got to sit in the bleachers in Wrigley. So we took him to Wrigley and for that. But Liam's first game was, we were at Busch Stadium for the Cardinal game. And so we're like, I don't want to be way up on the, like, he didn't know, but he was born in Europe, he didn't know baseball. It's like we want him to be like close to the field. So we actually got, right on the line, not like where you get hit with a foul ball, but like close by so we could actually enjoy the game and see it more. So is that. So let's see. Bucharest. Okay, so the Peasant Museum in Bucharest is cool, and they have another outdoor museum where they took buildings from all over Romania. That's nice, but I usually recommend going to the Transylvania part of Romania over other stuff. So that, yeah, writing down Roma versus Lazio. So be careful with that. Oh, Matt here, Wonders, welcome back, and thank you very much for the super chat. That was very nice of you. And that was very helpful. I'm glad we could be helpful. So Just Hearts, New York City. Question, I'm looking for a real eat, pray, love food experience based on a good food experience. What would be a good country to go to? Really get in touch with stuff? Rwanda. Rwanda would be one. France is another one. There's certain places in Brazil you could do that. Because I'm thinking of like the holistic experience of the situation where you're at, the food, relaxing, not worrying about stuff like Minas Gerais. It's got really good food in Brazil, and there's the colonial cities. You can kind of relax when you're there because it's a safer part of Brazil. Where else? Because there's some that you can do like the eating and the praying, but then you're not going to love it because it's too expensive, at least for me. So I think those are some ones I would kind of think about. So, Porta D, we have not been to Macedonia. That got nixed when our Italy to Greece road trip got canceled. Best locations in Africa. There's a lot of great places. I'm big with Rwanda is our family favorite. Tanzania is good. I really liked Tunisia. I went there years ago, but I've been there it's not 20 years, but it's getting close to it. That was a really good place. I like that. So there's that. Thank you very much, Mr. My name is Kotabawa. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So this is a good one. Leanne wants to know, do you think it'll be possible for this year for Europeans to travel to the U.S. as a tourist? I don't know. Like, I would assume if it opens up if Europe is starting to open up to the U.S., it's more likely the U.S. will open up to Europe. I mean, because our vaccinations are really high. So there's that. Michelle W., what to eat in Croatia? If you watch, I think the Don't Croatia video, I talk about some of the food there in the Love and Hates video. I have some Croatia food stuff there. What's cool about Croatia is you got the meats that come in. You got like the Austrian and German meat influence, but you have the Italian pasta influence, and then you got the sea that's there. You cannot go wrong eating Croatia. I mean, super underrated place for people to go. Great beaches, except for the stone, but like good beaches, historic stuff to see, and a fantastic food. And they all speak like 900 languages. So there is that. Let's see. Lars, I love you, Uncle Mark from Saudi Arabia. Thanks, Lars. Wait, sorry, hold on. Yeah, this thing jumps when I try to pick the names. It jumps around. Walk 89, ever been to the Philippines? No, I haven't. I've actually looked at going there with this church we go to occasionally. They do a mission there every other year. Last year was when they were supposed to do. Obviously didn't happen, but might go do some stuff there for that. I actually do work with some of our editors are from the Philippines. They help me cut down some of the videos. I don't cut down all the videos anymore. They'll cut it down for me to save me like 3 hours. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Dane and Tristan. But no, that is definitely one place I want to go because I also want to meet my team there in person, not just virtually. Let's see. Ozzy is too. Be aware, everybody. Be aware, everyone. My land down under is predicted to be closed until 2024 if you dream of travel to Australia. Yeah, and see, Australia doesn't really live off of U.S. tourism or European tourism, so it's for them closing out doesn't make a difference. They already have the Australia-New Zealand bubble that's opened up, and then the bubble will go into like some parts in the Pacific and stuff. So like their tourism stuff is kind of kept. It's kind of like the U.S. Like we have so much domestic tourism that the foreign tourism isn't as big of an impact. Whereas in Europe, it's a smaller country. There's so many other tourists come from other countries, has more of an impact and more financially pushed to open up. So it is kind of an interesting thing. Okay, so we've been on for about 2 hours now. The kids are up. Wife is up. Time for me to get up and do something with the day. I'm going to put up the scams of Budapest. It should be up in about 30 minutes. So I really wish you all a fantastic day. And Boris,
have a good day.
Oh, Jocelyn's awake and showered and cleaned up. There you go. Cool. Boris, I saw that. Boris, I got a special place more for exchange students. I'm going to California as Orange County as an exchange student. Wondering how the situation over there. They're getting under control. You'll be okay. You have a good time. You spend a lot of money when you're there. So have a great time, everybody.
Reese was moving to San Antonio. Did you see that and get it?
I did not see that.
I saw it for a second.
Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being on here. Sorry that one jerk got through. I didn't notice the thing. So hopefully YouTube will let us keep his money. And then he can go, where. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you. And again, hit that like button before you hop off. But the scans of Budapest will be up in a little bit for Saturday's video. And just want to say thank you, everybody. Y'all rock. So bye.